Hello, Craig Smith of the Home Education Foundation in Palmerston North, New Zealand. We're talking about how we can educate our children at home. And the question before us today is, how much should I spend per child per year on my home education materials? Well, folks, that's a bit of a non-question, really. Again, how long is a piece of string? You know, don't be a cheapskate. You can, in fact, and I say to people, if you've got your Bible in one hand and your library card in the other hand, you pretty much have all you need as far as educational resources to give your child a first-rate education. But you can spend money for other books. Don't get into the be careful about lashing out big dollars on curriculum materials. I mean, you look through catalogs and you'll salivate over some of the books and the write-ups of some of these books. But when you spend the big dollars and the stuff arrives at home, you may discover to your horror that this material is not what you thought it was. It may follow a certain line of thought that is completely antithetical to you. The logic of the program, as it unravels itself, the logic might be quite different than your own personal logic, and you find you simply can't work with it. I've done that. I've spent hundreds of dollars from stuff and bought stuff from overseas, brought it into New Zealand here, and when I started working with it with the children, I found that the logic of the program did not suit my logic. We did not gel together well at all. I simply couldn't use the material. It was good material. I could not use it. So I ended up selling it secondhand for a song and a dance here in New Zealand. Somebody else got blessed, but I lost a lot of money on it. So what I would say to you, before you lash out the big dollars on a curriculum program, talk to people who use that program. See if you can borrow that program from somebody else and try it out yourself. See if you can get some personal experience with it. Find out as much as you can about it before you spend the big bickies. Now, it's always good to make some wise expenditures on certain types of equipment that are going to last you a long time. Things like movie cameras or really nice microscopes or stereoscopes. Or different types of equipment that are going to last you for a long time and serve a lot of the family members for a long period of time. So don't be a cheapskate when it comes to that kind of investment. They're often very good investments and you'll never be sorry. We bought a stereoscope. You know, it's like a microscope, but it just looks at a stationary object on a platform with light shining on it, like you catch a bee and put the bee under there and your stereoscope. So you look at it through two eyes, and it's a stereo, so you see it in 3D, and it's a live bee, and he's kicking around down there, and you can see all the hairs on every part of him and the little pollen grains on his legs because it's 1,000 times magnification. And it was brilliant education. When you start to look at stuff up close, it's really good. Magnifying glasses and they take some preparation to prepare the slide properly and how to focus in. There's a little bit of trick there, and you need to have someone help you learn how to actually prepare slides for microscopes, because the light shines through the slide before it comes up the tubes into your eyes. That's quite different than a stereoscope. So make sure you understand the difference between these things before you buy the equipment. But go ahead and do that. We were with one family who was already hooked into a certain curriculum. It was a prepared curriculum from somewhere else, and they were kind of subscribing. They had to buy X amount of materials per month or per year from the central office, and the children would work through that systematically at their home. And the parent worked out how much it was going to cost for all the children for the next X number of years, and it was a lot of money. And we said to the parent, well, think about it. What kind of education are they getting from the material they're using now? And think of that for the next 3 years. Or what else could you use that X number of that thousands of dollars? What else could you use that money to buy? Think about the library you could purchase of classical books. And the mom decided that's what she would rather do. So she canceled her subscription to this particular curriculum, and she went out and systematically bought classical books for her family's library, and ended up having a real family heritage of a library. Good solid books on the bookshelf that the whole family could use. and from which they can get a marvelous education just as they read these books together, rather than going through this curriculum, which she found was a little bit simplistic for the children. And it was fun, and it kept them on track, and it wasn't too difficult, but it really, at the end of the day, she didn't think it was giving them value for money. So she just reevaluated it, threw the curriculum out the window, and went and bought, with that same money she would have spent, she went and bought good, solid books that are recognized as classical type literature for the Western culture, and filled her bookshelf with those. She was very happy with that. So yeah, never hesitate to re-evaluate where you are. But certainly I would say, don't be in a big hurry to spend big money on curriculum material. There's a lot of good stuff out there, but there's also a lot of trash out there, let me tell you, a lot of trash. And a lot of curriculum material, sadly, they try to hook you into a system where you buy into this curriculum at this point. You need to follow on that curriculum until the finish of year 12. And so they'll have one book after the next that you need to purchase from them. And that may not be a bad thing, but watch out, because they tend to plug you into a certain well-defined system, and you're not allowed too much to stray from the straight and narrow path that they have defined in terms of their own particular curriculum. So be very wary about that thing. Investigate the product very carefully so you know exactly what it is you're purchasing before you spend the big dollars on it, because you may end up purchasing something that is different than what you thought it was. Always investigate very carefully. Thank you.